On a quiet summer morning in 1973, the small lakeside town of Kenora, Ontario, became the scene of one of the most bizarre and tragic bank robberies in Canadian history. A man walked into a bank with a homemade bomb strapped to his chest. He demanded money, and within minutes he was dead, his body scattered across multiple city blocks. But here's the thing that haunts investigators to this day. No one knows who he was. No ID, no fingerprints that matched any database. No missing persons report that fit his description. For over 50 years, he's been known only by a grim nickname given to him by the locals, Oliver Town, because pieces of him were found all over town. This is the story of Canada's most explosive unsolved mystery. To understand this case, you first need to understand Kenora. Located in northwestern Ontario, right on the border with Manitoba, Kenora in 1973 was a tight-knit community of around 10,000 people. It sits on the northern shore of Lake of the Woods, a sprawling, beautiful body of water dotted with thousands of islands. This was a town where everyone knew everyone, a place where crime was almost non-existent, the kind of place where people left their doors unlocked. But on the morning of June 24th, 1973, that sense of safety would be shattered forever. It was a warm Sunday. The streets were quiet. Most people were at church or enjoying a leisurely morning at home. And that's when he walked in. At approximately 10:15 a.m., a man entered the Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce on Main Street in Kenora. Witnesses described him as white, in his late 20s to mid-30s, approximately 5'9" to 5'11" tall, with a slim build. He had brown hair and he wore dark clothing, reportedly a dark jacket and pants. But it wasn't his appearance that people remembered. It was the bulky device strapped to his chest. He approached the counter calmly and told the teller he had a bomb. He wasn't shouting, he wasn't frantic, he was eerily composed. He demanded money and he got it. Accounts vary, but it's believed he left the bank with somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000 in cash. The teller, shaken but unharmed, immediately triggered the silent alarm. Within minutes, the Kenora police were notified. The man walked out of the bank and began heading down Main Street on foot. He didn't run. He didn't rush. He just walked. But the police were already on their way. And they weren't taking any chances. Within minutes of the alarm being raised, officers from the Kenora Police Service and the Ontario Provincial Police, the OPP, converged on Main Street. They quickly located the suspect. He was still on foot, still calm, still walking. But this wasn't a normal robbery. The device on his chest changed everything. Officers cordoned off the area and began evacuating nearby buildings. They shouted for him to stop, to surrender, to put his hands up. He didn't. Instead, he kept walking, seemingly indifferent to the police presence around him. It was then that a decision was made. A police sniper, positioned on the nearby rooftop, was given the order to take the shot. The goal was not to kill, but to disable. The sniper was instructed to aim for the suspect's legs, to bring him down without causing fatal injury. At approximately 10:45 a.m., the sniper fired. The bullet struck the man in the leg, and in an instant everything changed. The moment the bullet hit, the bomb detonated. The explosion was massive. Witnesses blocks away reported hearing a deafening blast. Windows shattered. Car alarms went off. Birds scattered from the trees. The man's body was obliterated. Debris, clothing, fragments, human remains were scattered over a radius of several blocks. Some pieces landed on rooftops. Others were found in alleyways, on car hoods, even embedded in building facades. It was a scene of absolute carnage. Miraculously, no one else was killed. A few bystanders suffered minor injuries from flying glass, but the police cordon had kept most people far enough away to avoid serious harm. But the man at the center of it all? He was gone. Not just dead, erased. And with him went any easy answers about who he was or why he'd done this. In the hours and days that followed, investigators faced an almost impossible task: identify the bomber. The explosion had been so powerful that very little remained of the man's body. What fragments were recovered were sent for forensic analysis, but this was 1973. DNA testing didn't exist yet. Police checked fingerprints, dental records, and missing persons reports from across Canada and the northern United States. Nothing matched. They interviewed everyone in Kenora. Did anyone recognize the description? Had anyone seen a stranger in town? Was anyone acting suspiciously in the days leading up to the robbery? Again, nothing. The man had seemingly appeared out of nowhere. Investigators also examined the bomb itself, or what remained of it. Forensic experts determined it was homemade, constructed from common materials. It wasn't sophisticated, but it was effective. Too effective. But there were no serial numbers, no traceable components, no clues that pointed to a manufacturer or seller. Whoever this man was, he had been careful. And now he was a ghost. Over the years, numerous theories have emerged about who the Kenora Bank Bomber might have been. Theory 1. A drifter. Some believe he was a transient, someone passing through Kenora with no ties to the community. Perhaps he was desperate for money, perhaps mentally ill, or perhaps he simply saw an opportunity. Theory 2. A fugitive. Others speculate he was on the run from something or someone. Maybe he'd committed crimes elsewhere and needed cash to disappear. The homemade bomb suggests some level of planning and technical knowledge. Theory 3. A suicide mission. What we do know is this. On June 24th, 1973, the man walked into a bank strapped with a bomb. And when that bomb went off, it didn't just take his life, it took his identity, his story, and any chance of closure. He became Oliver Town, a nameless ghost in a small Canadian town. And unless someone, someday, comes forward with information, that's all he'll ever be. If you have any information about this case, no matter how small, please contact the Ontario Provincial Police or Kenora Police Service. Even the coldest cases deserve answers. If you found this case as haunting as I did, please consider subscribing to the channel and turning on notifications. We cover the most mysterious, unexplained, and forgotten cases from around the world. Drop a comment below. Do you think Oliver Town will ever be identified? What's your theory? And if you want to explore more dark files like this one, check out the playlist linked in the description. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, stay safe. And remember, some mysteries are never meant to be solved, but that doesn't mean we stop searching.